Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week, maybe the spirit will enter our bodies
Whoa.
through an elaborate beach ceremony.
I don't know. There's only 3 of us.
Well, we gotta find the 4th. Oh, let's have a contest.
Where's Matthew Lillard?
Yeah,
Where's he?
Matthew Lillard is our 4th.
Maddie,
You,
get over
the
here,
listener,
girl.
are our 4th right now,
Oh,
unless you're
that's
with
sweet.
someone.
And then you really
Yeah.
fucked with our numbers game. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're with someone right now, fight to the death, and whoever
If you
wins,
and your
you're our
bestie are
4th.
listening in the car, yeah, it's gonna be a
Right,
real
you got
mess.
your kids in your car? Sorry, they're out.
Ooh,
Yeah,
apologies to them, but
I would say 18 and over to join our coven. Just to,
that's probably fair.
I think it's safe.
Well, we are in season 5, and I feel like it's only fair to do a little callback to season 1.
Okay.
That time.
It's about time, and we are doing the 1996 cult classic, The Craft. Now,
Yay!
if you've never seen The Craft, where have you been? Literally, where have you been?
Seriously.
But
I'm pretty sure they played on, what's it called now? Freeform every Halloween.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's one of
Definitely.
the 30 nights of Halloween, okay? Let's get it
31
together.
nights of Halloween, Chelsea.
Oh, I skipped one.
Yeah.
Come on, girl. Halloween's on the 31st.
They skipped the
Come on, girl.
13th, just like floors in a building.
No, they do extra on the 13th.
Yeah. There's a double 13 in October. Okay. But if you've never seen it, according to IMDb, a newcomer to a Catholic prep high school falls in with a trio of outcast teenage girls who practice witchcraft. And they also conjure up various spells and curses against those who anger them.
I love it when it's like
twice
2
as long as I
sentences
expected, yeah.
long. Yeah, no. I love it when they're like, you know what? What if we just do more? What if it's
half a
really good.
paragraph?
What
I've
if
got
it's
more to
not
say.
succinct?
Yeah, I watched this on Max. It was streaming on Max at least at the time that I watched it. Don't know if it still is. Cross my fingers for you. But the description on there was interesting because they really needed to point out that Robin Tooney's character is dealing with an experience with suicide. So they really slapped that in there right at the beginning, which I guess, gets revealed pretty quick. So, okay. All right.
It's
Yeah,
dramatic.
you're saying they're like, oh, is this a 31 Nights of Halloween thing? It's a little bit.
It is a little rated R, but I do feel I
it's
watched it on cable when I was young.
It's got some mature themes. I'm sure they
I watched a lot of things on
out
cable when I was
some
young, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably cut out some of the more graphic of those things too. But also, you probably watched it when you were much younger, and I think they kind of just let shit fly when we were younger.
It was
about
the
what
90s,
was on
the
cable.
early 2000s. Nobody was paying
Oh.
attention.
You know what? I also might be thinking about the description from Roku, because I'm looking at it on Max now. And that might have been Roku, who famously does weird shit in their descriptions, because they were the one who mentioned tentacles at one time when that really was a big spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, I've now become the opposite of what I once was, which was a trailer girly, and all I want to do is watch these trailers. And now we do trailer reactions for the Patreon, I'm like not watching them so I can like be like
Authentic reaction,
wow,
yeah.
authentic reaction, so Leo won't get mad at me. But they give away so much fucking shit these days, man. I
Yeah.
just like every time I've gone into a movie with no expectations at all in the last couple of months, I've had a great time. And every time I've expected anything, literally anything at all, I've had a horrible time. I eat long legs and Maxine when I really didn't like either of them that much the first time around because I was hyped. I'm like, am I not allowed to have excitement leading up to something
No.
anymore? I guess not.
I guess not.
I've lost
I
that
will say,
privilege.
the art of the trailer has been lost.
Yeah. It used to be that one man. Who
Mr. Movie Phone?
he was like, and would you believe there's 4 girls and they meet and they are witches or whatever? Fuck yeah. That. Love that. I love a disembodied voice telling me things. It's very exciting.
Voice of God, baby.
But I think sometimes they can do really epic teaser trailers that knock my socks off. As soon as it's like a real trailer, like the actual one, where they're like showing more clips from the movie, it's not for me. But a teaser trailer, they do like artistic shit with a song and like it cuts to the different beats in the song. And I'm like, ooh, ah, ooh. So I'm now a teaser trailer girly. That's what I've learned. I've had to update who I am.
Wow.
I'm a tease or
We all
trailer
grow, we all
girly.
change.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how that works. I am really glad that we did this movie, I have to say, because I completely forgot everything about it. Well, actually, I remembered a lot about it, but in my mind, Nev Campbell was the lead and the star of the film, and she was the main girl, and she was the girl that came to town, and blah, blah, blah. And I feel really bad for Robin Tooney, the actress, because I deleted her.
You erased her.
Yeah.
I erased her completely.
Wow, you're
it's
just
all
like
about Nev to me.
Nancy.
I'm just wow. Yeah, no, I was like, you don't even exist to me, Robin Tooney. Which I think I was just
who?
I'm so sorry, Sarah and Robin, who are the same person in this world. I think I protected myself from the wig. I think my memory protected
The
me
wig is bad.
from Sarah's hair in this movie. It's so
close
bad.
to being cute at many points.
Yes, so close.
It's just these little side bits that are really coming out because they're trying to give her like little wispies.
Yeah, and like her forehead shape, I was like, something is because I wasn't exactly sure what was happening at the beginning. I was like, is this her hair? I don't know this woman. I don't know Robin Tooney. I haven't seen any other movies with her, and I have seen Almost Famous, but I did not remember Fairuza Balk from that. I like only remember them from this movie, but I was reading about it, and apparently they were like hot stars of the 90s leading into this. So I don't know where the fuck I've been or where I was under a rock, but I've never seen them in anything else before. But of course, Nev lives in my mind every day, rent free.
Pre-Scream Nev too.
Oh,
only just barely pre-Scream Nev. It's like a few months later Scream drops.
Yeah.
But
this was a big year for her.
And
Skeet.
And Skeet.
Has he ever not played a dirtbag? Just a question.
No,
He's
the
such a
River
dirtbag,
Dad.
Probably, right?
The Riverdale dad isn't necessarily like a full dirtbag.
He's like half dirtbag.
A little bit of a fuck
He's
up,
a
but
dirtbag
not...
with a heart of gold, you know?
Yeah. He's not that bad. And he's so hot in that. But like, he's a dirtbag and he's less hot than he is in Scream in this movie. And so I hate him more.
The hair. It's the hair.
The hair is not great.
The hair.
He's giving jock in this one. And
he is a football player.
He
I
is
guess.
a jock.
Yeah.
That makes it way worse. That makes it way fucking worse.
Really throws the vibes off.
And you know, he's less gay, where at least in Scream, he's incredibly gay.
Super gay in Scream. And this one, his 2 friends are gay, but not him.
No, yeah.
He's just
bad.
ally in this movie.
I know.
Ooh,
yeah.
Maybe.
I think he would be, but I think he'd be a homophobic ally, which is a thing.
Say more, actually.
Are you watching English Teacher? It's like Marty from English Teacher.
Exactly. Like he's definitely calling them
you need to be.
Like, oh, you should. He's definitely calling them fags, but he supports their right to exist, you know, and love each other. But he's definitely using
slurs and he means them as slurs, but he's also like, that doesn't mean other people should be. It's like when you bully your sibling, but nobody else is allowed to bully your sibling.
He's like, yes, you're a fag, but you're my fag. And that's what counts.
Yeah, I think that's how he would
what
be to his
counts.
2 little friends.
He would say probably literally verbatim that.
Yeah. And that's why he is A homophobic ally.
A homophobic ally. I
Okay.
honestly, the men in this movie are such trash. The shit that comes out of their mouth. Once again, first off, callbacks to Disturbia happening here, except it's the other way around. Starting off the introduction to the school in a foreign language class
Yeah.
situation, and the class clown guy is making it sexual. But honestly, this professor, it's the 90s, I guess it's crazy, but the professor is like, did you fuck over the weekend? And he's like, oh, you're asking if I fucked over the weekend. And that they're just saying that to each other as
Did
professor and
he?
student. I don't speak French, but I was
I don't
like,
speak French, and there were no subtitles. I was like,
I
I
know.
wonder if he's just rolling with it when Breckenmeyer is being like, "Oh, did I get laid over the weekend? Beaucoup de laid." Like if he was just like, "Yeah, say whatever you want as long as you say it in French," or because he said coucher, I think,
he
which is
probably
like
should shut
voulez-vous
that down.
coucher avec moi, which is
Yeah,
like, will
yeah.
you go to bed with me? Maybe did you sleep over the weekend? I don't know, girl. I don't know. I took French in college, but it's been a long time.
I took Spanish. So I did pretty well in the Disturbia scene, but I didn't do so well in this one. I'll tell you that.
I did French Duolingo, but it's been a minute. So, I mean, and I also took like 5 years of French. Could not tell you.
Well,
No idea.
we'll never know.
Who's to
We'll never
say?
know.
Not us.
Should I call my cousin
We will
who's
never know.
fluent and just be like, "Hey, girl,
Hey, girl.
Phone
What
a
is
friend.
this?
can you translate a scene for me?"
I need you to weigh in. Thanks so much. We could probably get the script online and you can just plug it in to Google Translate and you'll be good.
So true.
But yeah, these guys are literally the worst guys. They're not the worst ones ever, but they're pretty bad. I'm just sorry. Mitt says, what did that snail trail just say to me?
His
in
name
French
is
class.
Mitt?
His name is Mitt.
Mm.
I'm looking at the IMDb. Mitt. Spelled
Thumbs
like
down.
Matt. 2 T's, 1 I. Horrible name. But I do love that guy, Breckenmeyer.
Yeah.
That plays
Yeah.
him. He's hilarious. He's
Famous
great.
member of Du Jour.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. I just
I also
watched
felt
that
like his
opening the
casting
other
was
day.
a little reference to Clueless as well, especially with all the plaid in this movie.
Yes, Catholic school. Love that it's set in that setting because we love a little pleated skirt action and the girlies
Well,
rock it.
also, Catholicism is so like gothic in many
Yes.
ways, and they're dramatic and over the top in ways that are fun as a like culture clash
Yeah.
here. And there's like that one scene when they're in mass and like what the priest is saying. Sorry, I really struggled to find the right word there. Not pastor. The priest was saying was very like on the nose for what was coming. So
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that at the time because
I didn't either, but I read it on IMDb trivia and then I put it in my notes and I went, I'll bring that up later.
I'll bring that up later. Okay, sorry, back to the beginning just for 1 second. I know we're still there, but very, very beginning. I so much did not know that this movie was about Sarah and Robin Tooney that when they showed the plane part, I was like, who are these people? It's weird that they're playing this, showing this.
At?
I didn't know who I was supposed to be looking at. So then, like, when they got to the house later and, like, they showed the mom, like, in one of the rooms from far away, I was like, is that Laura Dern? Is Laura Dern in this? Bitch? Monica, you have seen them before. I also watched Beetlejuice today, and there's a blonde woman. And I was like, is that Laura Dern?
Every blonde woman is Laura Dern.
I'm like, I need Laura Dern to be in one of these movies. Kind of a missed opportunity. She would have been a little too young to be the mother in this scenario.
She could have been the lady who owns the witch shop.
Oh.
Should start a new Laura Dern
so
segment every episode.
Right? Maybe we should. I'm changing so much now. I'm thinking about Laura. I'm in a metamorphosis stage.
She's a teaser trailer girl. She loves Laura Dern.
I'm thinking about Laura Dern all the time. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Oh, okay. Also, Chris Skeet's character's name is Chris Hooker.
Great name.
Weird there. I'm learning a lot about these people with these names.
IMDb's
changing it for me.
IMDb trivia told me that the writer, the director, I don't know, named that character after one of his childhood friends. I simply would not name that character after any friend I ever had were it up
Unless
to
you
me.
hated them.
Yeah,
Right?
I was like, friend of me, maybe. But
And you're like, oh, so you hate me.
yeah, named after a
Dude,
childhood friend of screenwriter Peter Filardi. I was like,
Peter.
they went to junior high and high school together too. So it's not like that was like my friend from kindergarten. I love him. I want to name a character after him. It's like, I think that was real Chris Hooker a dirtbag? Like, what's going on? Why would you
I
play him like this if
know.
he's not dirty, disgusting?
God.
I don't know. I guess I'm not like totally sure what the movie thinks of him sometimes, or if it's just like Sarah, what Sarah
Yeah.
thinks of him, because she's a teenage girl. And you know, sometimes you've got your blinders on a little bit, but
I love this movie a lot, and watching it again was so much fun. But there's so many like thematic things where I'm like, we aren't teaching amazing lessons here. Not that horror movies are
No.
supposed to be teaching you lessons necessarily, besides lessons in how to kill, I guess. But like this one in particular, I was like, this is from the mid 90s, and everyone is being so cunty. Like, oh my God, it's crazy. I mean, like, I
Snail
feel
Trail
bad
is
Was
particularly
being that
egregious.
cunty.
When you brought up Snail Trail, I was like, that's a disgusting insult to
That is
use.
disgusting.
I'm
Like
gonna
I have a
start calling people that from
No.
now on.
I have a that's like the S slur about vagina and what's the other one?
The S.
I can say it out of
slur?
context. Okay.
Vagina?
What do you call it like a slit, and then there's another
Oh.
one.
I didn't realize
Oh,
that was
gash.
an
I
S
know.
slur.
I was like,
Sorry, no, it's gash. It's gash. That's the one.
Yeah.
That it reminded me of that. That's just like, yeah. I don't know. I've heard it used in like really ferocious settings and it's disgusting and very upsetting. So I was like, how dare you call her a snail trail? If somebody said that to me, I wouldn't be able to retaliate. So I felt really bad for her. I was like, she's having such a bad
My
day.
little snail trail.
It's her first day at school and everyone's being a real fucking cunt. She doesn't even have her
Yeah.
outfit yet. And her
Yeah.
outfit she chose when she had the opportunity to wear whatever she wanted to school. And she wore her worst fit of the entire episode.
It was
on
not
her,
slaying.
it was not
It was
slaying. I'm
fine.
sorry. It was just fine. Later on, she stunts. Okay. I hadn't watched this movie yet, but texted Sydney and Alex yesterday and was like, I want to do whimsigoth shit this fall. And then we watched this movie and I was like, this is the blueprint. This
Yes.
is the blueprint. I was like, I have all the stuff for it already. I just didn't realize. Oh, I'm so excited. But I love the way that these bitches, like, though they're not powerful, the Coven girlies already, what are their names?
The
You
bitches
have
of Eastwick.
Rochelle, the
Yeah.
bitches of Eastwick. So fucking funny.
Nancy,
Such
Bonnie,
fun.
and Rochelle.
Yeah, Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle. I love that like they haven't come into their power yet, but they obviously do like have like power innate. Because like I couldn't remember how it worked. If it's like because they got together, they had power. Obviously, some of them more than others, but Bonnie on that first day is like reading whatever, and she's like, something's coming. I can feel it. Maybe it's our
Mhm.
fourth. So
Yeah,
they have
I
some
mean,
stuff going on.
I think it is an interesting discussion point because IMDb trivia said that in some of the original screenplay, at least, as well as at least in like one other draft, maybe, it suggested that actually none of those three have any powers. Only Sarah has powers, and they're
She's
kind of
definitely
like
the most.
leeching off of her once they've sort of formed a coven. Like her participating in their spells is what gives their spells power. I think you can definitely make an argument that that is not the case in the final version of the film that we see. But I also think like
I think that could be true still, though. I keep
yeah.
going. Sorry.
Well, yeah, because like reading the almanac, like in theory, anybody who wants to do that, that's not necessarily something that you need to.
True.
It's
True.
like, okay, people who do tarot, it's not to say that people who are good at tarot don't have a skill for it or some sort of calling for it, but also so much of it is like you're pulling the cards and then you're interpreting what's on the cards, and your familiarity with them is like just a big part of that skill. So if you're like doing the book learning, you know what I mean, even if you don't necessarily have an innate ability, you can still like look at the text, interpret the text. So
Mm-hmm.
I think you can kind of get into the weeds with it potentially.
Yeah, I mean, and more to the point of that argument that it's just Sarah with the power. I mean, I would say Nancy, I think, does have some power innate too, but it's like that witch woman from the witch shop says, like some people, it's like about what you have inside of you. If you have lightness, or if you have light or dark inside of you. Isn't that something that you said? Something
So if you have
along
like a
those
good or
lines?
bad heart or something like that.
Yeah, something about like your heart and your intentions, and that's how
The only
your
good or
power
bad is in
will.
the heart of the witch.
Yeah,
I wrote that quote
exactly.
down.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
magic is
and
neither good or bad.
yes, that's what that quote was. Yes, and so I think that because I'm just thinking about it, like Rochelle speaks words into existence, but it's Sarah who ties the hair into her hair. And then Bonnie speaks words into existence, but it's Nancy who is like doing stuff to her back that one night when they're all having their slumber party. Um, so I think mostly their power comes from like combining their forces, but obviously we see in like scene 5 that Sarah has power innate because she does that cool pencil trick. Which, bitch, you
Well,
gotta not be just
also,
doing that all the time. People are gonna see that. It's pretty obvious.
nobody's paying attention to me. I'm just the cute
She's
new
just the
girl.
I'm
snail
just a
trail in the
hot
back.
new girl. God, come
Not like
on. Have you seen
everybody
the
wouldn't
movie?
immediately zone in on a new girl in a school like that. Hello.
And be like, whoa, why is she wearing such a bad wig?
Right. Girl,
but
your edges are not
um
laid.
she needed the wispies. Leave her wispies alone.
It was giving Eclipse. It was giving
Yeah.
Belly Eclipse wig.
Well,
It was
look,
giving all of the
Not a
Cullens in their
compliment.
bad wigs.
Robin Tooney had just filmed another movie called Empire Records, in which she also had
Oh, I've
attempted
wanted to see
suicide,
that.
and she shaved her head for that role.
Oh, so she
So
had
she
no
was
hair
bald.
at all.
Yeah, so she was bald under there. So she needed a wig.
Okay, understandable.
I
Understandable.
love an actress who dedicates shaving her whole head to her art, and
Me
then has to
too.
wear a
No
wig
shade
in the
there.
next movie. But
She's also so
it's all
precious.
out there. Yeah.
Though I
But yeah,
didn't
I
remember
mean,
she existed, I've fallen in love with her. So don't worry. I'm on a
um,
redemption arc with Robin.
yeah, they do have the witch lady shop does have that conversation with them also though, where she says like, "Oh, Sarah's a natural witch," or yeah, I think she says natural witch. So
Mhm.
it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but I was also not confusing it necessarily, but I watched the first 2 episodes of Agatha all along,
Oh,
which
I started
is
that last night.
yeah, and they talk in that show also about like being a born witch versus like someone who's like witchy enough. So it does seem in that show, and I would argue in this world as well, that it's like a skill that can be honed and learned, especially through like book knowledge. And I think it's the kind of thing where it's like if you have the right tools, you know what I mean, then you can work within that. But Sarah has the ability to just like do it
Do
herself.
it.
Irony. Yeah. Okay. So that's super interesting. Something else I had a question about in this movie, though, is the man with the snake. Um, and his whole purpose in the film. Besides being their first kill or
Scary,
whatever.
yeah.
But I think he's supposed to be like an omen of like bad tidings if Sarah becomes homies with the bitches of Eastwick. Um, that's what my interpretation was because he's like has the snake, which comes back at the end as something that they use to terrorize her, and it seems like he's like trying to warn her. And what else would it be? that either that or
also-
don't date Chris Hooker. He's a bitch. Maybe that was the portent of the future.
Maybe.
Oh, yes.
There was another IMDb trivia entry that was not talking about that scene, but it was talking about the scene when they are invoking the spirit on the beach and they bring the animals in the jars in the little bag.
Yeah.
And it said that they each bring an animal that represents themselves or their wants. And Rochelle has, I'll just do all of them real quick and then we'll circle back to the
Okay.
snake thing. But it says Rochelle carries a clownfish. Her passion is diving, which she can't enjoy as long as Laura Lizzie is there bullying her. So like fish diving, sure.
Mhm.
Bonnie carries a butterfly. It represents beauty and adoration. Which, you know, you can see
Yeah.
her whole thing is she wants to be beautiful.
Mhm.
Sarah carries a lovebird, which represents her desire for Chris or for love. And then Nancy has the snake, which it says is symbolic of rebirth, transformation, and immortality. And Nancy wants a better life for herself and her mother, as well as power and leadership. But so if the snake is symbolic of rebirth and transformation, you can see how that is relevant for Sarah moving somewhere new, sort of starting a new life after what happened in San Francisco. And also like at the end of the movie, she's like it's also a transformation. She's starting fresh again to a degree.
Yeah.
So I think there could be something to that.
And also if that is Nancy's totem, if that's Nancy's animal, then it's really a warning
Hello,
about
Nancy. Yeah.
about Nancy in particular, because I mean, we love Bonnie, we love Rochelle, but the real power of evil here or whatever is Nancy. The real powerful
Yeah.
one is Nancy. Yeah. I mean, we'll get into loving them
Well,
and
the
hating them.
bloodthirsty one is Nancy. She's
Yeah.
drunk on power. But yeah, I
She's
mean,
the
I
most
think
dangerous.
the snake guy, doesn't he say something to her in the beginning that's like, oh, do you want this? Like he's like he's not trying to scare her, you know what I mean? He's trying to like be like, oh, you wanted this. So it's almost like she's like calling for it in many ways, which is
Well, he's like,
interesting.
there's something
But
I need to tell you. Like he says that, I think maybe
in the
both
second
times.
one,
At
yeah, he
least in the
says,
second one, he says
hey,
that.
wait a second, I have to talk to you. I had a dream about you. In my dream, you were dead. So that's
It's a
not
bad
good.
dream to
That's
have.
not good.
It's
That's
kind
sad.
of crazy.
Do you think they killed him? Because they were all like,
Yeah.
we did it. And I was like, well, he's standing in the middle of the street and you thought to yourself, it's going to hit him. So I don't really know that that's your power or that's an observation that you made.
I think it's
Yeah,
implied that like the reason he got hit was because of them.
I think it can go either way, and it's just part of what they're like building into their belief. But I agree with Sydney. I do think that they did actually kill him, but 100% he's dead because that car rolled over his head. So if the question is if he survived, no. The car, I couldn't believe that. I was like, wow, they're showing the car just go right over his head. If this was a really rated R movie, it would have
They'd
squashed like
smush,
a
yeah.
melon. But probably for the best that it wasn't like that just so early in the film. I would have been shocked. And I would have been excited. But he didn't deserve that. He was trying to be nice.
And they
He
were trying to
just-
go for a PG-13 rating.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't going to give us loose watermelon head.
Apparently really wanted to be PG-13 rating, but they were like, we can't give you PG-13 rating because girls are doing witchcraft. So it has to be rated R, which is like,
Everybody's scared of teenage girls and witchcraft, okay?
Dude,
first of
Let us
all
have
teenage
hobbies.
girls are doing witchcraft. Okay, so
Yeah,
back
let
off,
us have hobbies.
but-
All
God
30-something-year-old teenage girls are doing witchcraft, okay? I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Seriously. Fucking
Actually,
ridiculous.
all girls are doing witchcraft.
We make potions in the mud when we are little, and then we grow up a little, and we manifest in our diaries,
Yep.
and then we grow up a little, and then we start doing potions again.
And also human sacrifices. Yeah.
You know, Alex almost lit her whole apartment on fire.
She
We
did.
were doing some shit, and it's on videotape, so you gotta be
It's really
careful.
funny.
Witchcraft is dangerous.
It is dangerous.
You have to have pure intentions.
I'm excelling at cursing people and hexing them. So
Yeah,
I've
but you
seen
said you
the
mainly
evidence
do
of it.
like the karma thing, which I think is smart and good because it's like in the movie where with the hair thing with Rochelle and Laura Lizzie, where it's like, well, nothing's gonna happen to her if she backs off and doesn't do shit to you.
exactly.
And the lady says, like, what you put out comes back to you times 3. So like you don't want to be you want to be careful in your witchcraft, you know what I mean, but you do want what people put out should come back to them, which is why I'm always kind.
I am divinely
Me
protected
too.
by karma.
Karma is
And
my boyfriend.
a really great example of this is sometimes it's in it for the long haul, right? Like, and
Mhm.
I'm patient and it will happen, but sometimes it's instantaneously, right? And the other night, Taylor was like making fun of me a little and being just like a little mean, lovingly, but I was like, this is not nice. And then as soon as he got up from the couch, he immediately fell down and hit his head on my lazy boy and busted up. And I just go, why would you be mean to your witch girlfriend who is divinely protected by karma?
Something for him to think about.
Something for him to ponder. A lesson was learned that night. A
A
lesson was
lesson
learned
was
that night.
learned.
Oh my god.
Karma is my boyfriend.
I I love this movie and I love how it gets all crazy and it's action packed and blah blah blah. But I love so much when they're happy and they're just friends for a little
Yeah.
bit of time.
It
That's
is
my
nice.
beef with this movie. Is like I like movies about friends who are nice to each other.
I know. It
and-
gets so sad at the end, but it's so beautiful in that brief period of time when they do their little okay, here's exciting. Here, before we get to the light as a feather, stiff as a board, their field trip day is the greatest day of all time. Incredible, beautiful. That is what I want my life to look like at all
Yeah.
times. We get the we're the weirdos,
Yes.
Mr. line.
Iconic
They all
line,
have
actually.
cunty little glasses. Oh God, so good.
I can't believe we're
They're-
not all wearing cunty little glasses right now.
I
quite
have ones
frankly.
that are just like the ones that she had. My mom, I think, was doing Whimsigoth fall shit in the 90s when I was just a small infant. So I missed a lot of that, but I
think
inherited
my
a lot of good shit.
good cunty sunglasses are in the car, unfortunately.
Ugh, mine are in a pile. I'll get them in a second. But I love their little ceremony in the field with the dagger and they hold it up to you like you'd rather like run into this sword if you don't have like good intentions or whatever. That whole thing, I love it. But I also just want to just zoom in really quickly about the kissing that occurs, the girl kissing that happens.
Bonnie
Mhm.
and Rochelle kiss on the mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only Bonnie and Rochelle are the ones who kiss on the mouth. They started off, they kiss on the mouth. Everybody else is too scared. But I'm like, Bonnie and Rochelle. Let's talk. Bonnie and
Interesting.
Rochelle.
Interesting.
Thinking about
Noted,
that. Thinking
noted.
about that. Poor Rochelle. She and Bonnie might have had some sort of thing going on. And then Bonnie gets the power of being insanely hot Nev Campbell and forgets about her girl Rochelle and was trying to
Yeah.
get at every man that walks by. Horrible. This is where the strife begins.
Yeah, well, I mean, also that scene is revealing for Nancy as well because they all ask for like one thing that is like to a degree reasonable. I want the way they phrase it at least is reasonable. It's like I want to have love and be loved and like accept love. Like good for you, girl. And like I want to be outside, beautiful outside as well as inside. Like okay, girl, I hear you. I can't remember exactly what Rochelle
Rochelle's like, I
says.
want people to not be racist to me. No, she wants to.
And that,
she-
yeah, fair enough.
It's not what she said, but she says
That's
like
a takeaway.
that she wants to like be loving to people, even racist
Who hate
bitches,
her
like
or something
who
like
hate-
that.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like a lovely sentiment. Poor
Well,
Rochelle.
And
Everything
Sarah's
they do
like,
to her
rock
in
on,
this.
girl.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, the actress who played Rochelle, Rachel True, uh, the whole Rochelle was supposed to be a white girl and she was supposed to be bulimic. And then Rachel True got cast and they were like, well, let's make let's say it's like a racist thing. And she was really unsure about it. when
Yeah,
she
I can
was
understand.
doing it.
Yeah.
And also, she was like 29 when she was
She
filming
looks
this.
like she looks the youngest out of all of them almost. So
I
good
know,
for
it's
her.
wild. But then she went on to like later say, actually, no, like this is important and it is.
I think they did a mostly good job with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that Christine Taylor says, I'm just like, whoo, girl.
Girl,
Oh my God, Laura
Girl.
Lizzie.
she really is very upfront about it, which I don't think you should admire, but at least we know what we're dealing with. She's not trying to
Yeah.
be sneaky about it. That doesn't make it any better, but
No,
at least
I
there's
mean,
no
it's
denying what it
horrifying.
is.
It's horrifying. She's just like, just so you know, I don't like you because I'm racist. Like that's what she essentially says, except in a way that is slurry, like the snail trail thing makes you feel, except
Right.
much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is such a fucking bitch. And I was thinking when I saw her though, I was like, she's evil and she has perfect hair. So how
I
perfect
know.
that they stripped that away from her.
Mhm.
But
Also,
yeah,
going back to Rachel True real quick, I don't know
yeah.
if she does anymore, but she used to work at House of Intuition.
Oh,
Ah.
no
Yeah,
way.
like you could go
But
get like your
Roosevelt also bought the magic shop that they used in this movie. So they both have
Yeah.
had little witchy moments.
That witch shop looks so much like my witch shop. It was crazy. I was like, wow, the vibes are so immaculate.
the vibes are vibing.
The vibes
Shout
are
out to the
vibing.
Green Man. I'm wearing my Green Man necklace. But I got that at
Mm.
the Renaissance Fair, not at the Green Man. But the Green Man in Burbank is a really cool witch shop, and they have like cool witch classes and stuff, which I have not gone to yet, but I really want to. So anyway, just saying. But yeah, I feel interestingly about the portrayal of Rochelle in this movie because I had heard that there was some sort of like criticism of this film on like racist grounds, and I was like preparing for them to like yeah, let me get through my thought, and then I was wrong. I knew there was some sort of criticism around like race and racism with this movie, and so I was watching it, and like the first like 15 minutes of the movie, Rochelle doesn't get to say anything. Everybody else gets to say anything, and then like she doesn't say anything at all, and I'm like, are they just gonna like critically underuse her in this movie? What's gonna happen? And I think she still got a good amount of screen time. I don't think they did a good job of coming together on her storyline or Bonnie's necessarily, because it's not really about them as much as it is about Nancy versus Sarah. But the reality of the situation was the way that Rachel True felt on set was where the issues came in because, and this was why I was looking up what Fairuza Balk had done before and Robin Tooney because I was unfamiliar with all of them besides Nev. But everybody else of this top four cast was like super famous at the time, white women, and she was the least famous out of all of them. She had to like apparently use this is like a quote smoke and mirrors to even get the not interview. Why do I keep saying interview?
Audition.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
We had to
her
do
first
this last
manager was
episode
like,
too.
"You're too old. I don't want to submit you," and she had to get like a new manager, like on the conditions that you will submit me for this film.
Exactly, yeah. And then she wowed them and is amazing, and they rewrote it for her character. But yeah, the apparently people of the production and the behind the scenes were just like sidelining her all the time. They're like, "You're not as important. You're not as famous as these other women, and so you're not going to press with them. You're not going to the same press things." And like, okay, yeah, I get that they're more famous than her, but like if it's a four-person top build movie, that doesn't make any fucking sense for them to leave Rachel True out of it. It's certainly racist that they were doing that, even if that's not what they thought that they were doing at the time, these production people. Um, but she did say that she didn't necessarily feel like she was getting that same sort of flack from Robin Tooney or Nev Campbell or Fairuza Balk.
Yeah, I
But
think IMDb trivia
there's
said one of them was the one who like called to get her on the press tour when she'd been excluded. So
yeah, they were good. They just didn't necessarily like see the true reasons behind why she wasn't being included all the time like they did. But yeah, she was just like getting a lot of flack from the production side the whole time, which is just super disappointing because she was really, really great in this. And I think she was adorable in this also, just like, and her character went through so much. I don't know. But back to what Sydney was saying, it is true. It is really interesting. This is like one of the first movies like this that had like a Black woman in like the main cast
One of the leads.
like one of the leads. Yeah. So like it's interesting. It's great that they had her in this role and also did talk about racism in the in the text of the movie. That's pretty rare for 96, so I'll give it credit there.
Yeah, they definitely addressed it in ways that are meaningful and I'm sure were really important to see for a lot of people. But she definitely is like not getting quite as much screen time as the other girlies
Totally.
for sure. But actually,
Totally.
what we were talking about before that was what Nancy asks for in that moment. When she says like, I want all of the power of Monroe in me, which is such a huge,
Yeah.
ridiculous ask. And then also she downs all of the wine to the last
With
drop
all
when
the
all the other
blood.
girlies took a little sip. So, I thought that was very revealing for her character.
Oh yeah, totally. She definitely has had a hard life, so she wants a better life,
Yeah.
but she like is so like jilted by the way that she's been treated that she's so angry that she like wants to burn it all down. She will take violent means. Like she literally everybody else's first power is like, I made the girl's hair fall out. I made my scars went away. Like, oh, the boy has a crush on me. And she's like, I killed my stepdad. That's what
Right.
I did. I killed my stepdad. Okay.
Yeah. Um, it's a mess. I don't think she like intended to. I don't think it was premeditated. I'll
Yeah.
say that.
Crime of passion.
I don't like. It's almost not even like a. It's. I think she felt murder in her heart. You know what I mean? I don't think. Feeling it for a split second, doesn't mean you would act on it. But given that she
Totally.
asked for all of the power of Mano, that split second of feeling it, that's enough in that moment to do murder. But her like complete lack of remorse or reflection afterward is really where things start to get sticky, because and I completely understand her being like, I'm fucking glad he's dead because he tried to hit her mom and he was like being weird to her about her robe. So
Yeah,
like,
and like weird and
fair
sexual
fucking
to
enough.
her.
Yeah, fair fucking enough to be glad that he is dead, but to for your pivot point to be like, and actually maybe murder can solve a lot of my problems is a slightly different path to take.
Well,
Okay,
I mean,
but they got $150,000 and in 1996 money, and today that would be
175.
so then even more. Because 150 would be $300,000 in today's money. And so honestly, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it was worth it.
IMDb trivia said it was like 341,000.
Yeah. So again, he sucked. Worth it. I don't know.
and
Could be
also,
me.
I don't know. I mean, they automatically are using like bad vibes with their magic because like the first thing that they think that they do, we just discussed, they're not sure if they did it or not, is kill that man. And they're like, oh my god, isn't that crazy that we
Slay.
wanted him to get hit by a car and then he got hit by a car? We are powerful. They're like, we killed someone. No, they don't think about that at all. They're like, we have magical witch powers, bitch. Holy shit.
Here's the thing:
well,
if we
Off
killed
on
a
her own
man,
foot. If we killed a man, I would be racked by guilt every day.
I
I've
would
thought
like
about
to
it.
not ever be responsible
would-
for killing anyone. Ideally,
The guilt would kill
you know,
The guilt would kill me. I could never be a murderer.
yeah,
You heard it here first.
I think a big part of that is also like they're not all rich. Obviously, Nancy is not rich, but Sarah's living in a nice ass house, I assume in Los Feliz. And they're going
Yeah,
to
it looks like Los Feliz.
yeah,
they're going to private school. I think they probably are just like not perceiving this man as like a real human person who exists in the same world as them. So they're like, we killed him, but they're not thinking about like how that was a person with a whole life afterwards.
Yeah. I'm laughing because I was thinking about Rochelle's line where she's like, "Yeah, I think that Nancy wished that she wasn't white trash anymore, but I told her, girl, you can't help it that you're white."
She's like, you're white. Get over
You're right.
it.
Get over it. Embrace the white trash.
Girl,
Look.
you're white. Get over it. That's so fucking funny. I was like, okay, we maybe didn't slay the writing on that line, but Rachel True slayed it. Rachel
Yeah,
True slayed
the
it.
delivery slayed for sure. I
Yeah,
don't know that the
the
writing
delivery slayed.
didn't slay. It's not nice, but that doesn't mean it didn't slay.
I just thought it was kind of a dumb line for me, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
It's kind of just like sprinkled in for no good reason. But
Yeah.
I see what they were doing, and I don't know that I don't think Rochelle would have said it. So
Fair.
I on that point. But it was interesting with Nancy. It definitely felt like what they were doing with her and with Minot and the way she talked about it was very like addiction adjacent, with her being like, it
Yeah.
fills you up and it takes away all of your problems. I was like, girl, that sounds like you're doing drugs.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that's a
technically,
really
she
good point.
is using witchcraft as like a way to escape her
Mhm.
reality and like
Self-medicating with
cope.
witchcraft.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
because
totally.
especially because there was like apparently something going on back in the day between Nancy and Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the way that the love spell like sneaks up on Sarah is so
Oof.
unsettling too. Like, obviously, I don't like where it ends up, and I'm not even talking about Nancy killing him. I don't like that it gets to like a sexual assault like space, but it is like a really interesting and like poignant like warning for something that is so frivolous, because like a love spell is scary. I mean, we've covered some films that deal with these kind of topics, but like to have someone just like wake up in love with you and be obsessed with you, and it grows and it grows and it grows, like they did a great job of making that terrifying and
Yeah.
in a very slow burn way.
Yeah, I think again, Sarah is a teenage girl and she's got her blinders on, and she met a boy that she thought was cute, that she thought liked her, and her
The
feelings
first boy
were
she
hurt.
saw at her new school.
Sometimes you only need to see one, okay?
It was love at
Um
first sight.
and you know, they at first it kind of seems like what they're doing. And honestly, I forgot how that played out in terms of her emotions, because what I really thought she was doing was humiliating him on purpose at first, because that's kind of the vibes in the beginning, where she's like, you're my little bitch boy and you're going to carry my books and you're going to carry my friends' books and you're not going to sit until I tell you to sit, and when your friends are making jokes and cracking jokes, I'm going to be like, pay attention, and you're going to pay attention. But
That part was good.
she does have like sincere interest in him and like wants sincere interest from him, and I think it's just the teenage girl thing of thinking that your love can fix somebody, or that if someone loves you they will for sure be nice to you, and it is just not accounting for the fact that actually we already know that this is a teenage boy who doesn't react well to being told no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
That's like the one thing we know about him actually, is that he's like a total
yeah.
bitch about being told no.
That was a hard what pill to swallow for me, but like after he says like the meanest shit ever, spreading that rumor that like
The
she's a
lousiest
slut,
play.
essentially. Yeah, that like she had sex the first day they met each other and she was fucking terrible at it. Like that's so fucking mean. Is that not, if that's not showing you his
Did he not?
character, what will? But she's still like, I love
Yeah.
his stupid little hair.
Yeah, he reminds me of a certain reality TV villain lately.
Just say it.
Yeah,
Just
it's
say
very
it.
Devin from Bachelorette vibes.
Yeah, it's very Devin from Bachelorette vibes. Oh God. fuck you, Devin. Who was I talking to earlier today? I was like, I felt like an idiot because he won me over, and then
I was bamboozled.
Yeah.
I was bamboozled. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it very much was giving same vibes for me. Especially with like stories that have come out about him on the internet. But it's that thing of like, you know, this sure this guy's kind of a douche, but like he likes me, and so does that mean that I'm special, or does that mean that I'm different, or does that mean that I could be the person who helps him be a better person? And it's like very easy to fall into that trap of thinking, and actually you can't be responsible for somebody else's character growth, and also that has to come internally from that person, and there's no guarantee it ever will. So
Yeah.
just I don't know, I like I really was not thrilled with how genuinely into him Sarah is and was in the movie, and I did just have to keep telling myself she is a teenage girl and she
Yeah.
has a lot of life left ahead of her, and we don't know if she's ever had any other relationships before. So
Yeah.
she needs to learn things in her own time.
They're not thinking through, they're totally in that like indestructible youth kind of
Yeah.
stage where they're like, I can't die and I don't understand the concept of death. It's like they're so juvenile in the way they approach all these like really heavy, intense themes that are
We
coming
killed
their
a
way
man.
because
Ha
of
ha
this
ha.
power.
Moving on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
LOL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And also like just when I think about like a love spell at my advanced age of 31. No, I'm 26, like I said last episode or whatever episode that was. But like thinking about someone like loving you because you did a spell on them to make them love you is like sickening, because it's like that it's not real, even though you made it real and it's happening to you and you're experiencing it. You know that you are the only reason that happened because you went outside of nature. Like that is
It's also like
horrifying
you're
in and of
taking away
itself
that
to me.
person's will,
Agency.
sense of control. Yeah. It is very free will disappears out the window when you do a love spell on somebody.
Free
Yeah, you're
will
never
versus
supposed to
predestination.
do
Part
love
3.
spells. Everybody knows that.
Yeah,
It's
no,
dangerous. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
scary.
I mean, I also think it was just like these girlies, as you might notice in movie, they're not necessarily all very good friends all of the time. So
No.
when Sarah is being like, sorry, I know he was shitty about me, and I also know he was shitty about you, Nancy, and we're just not acknowledging that, and I have crush on him anyway, and I'm gonna do a love spell on him anyway
Yeah.
so that we can be together. It's like,
Mhm.
well, her other friends are kind of still encouraging it, you know what I mean? Like Bonnie, especially in the church scene, is like, oh my god, I love that this is happening, your spell is working, magic is working, everybody's like so excited. Obviously not Nancy, but like, you know, they're also teenage girls, and they're also not thinking about
Yeah.
the emotional consequences of this potentially within the friend group. So
Yeah.
tricky.
Oh, slightly on a different page here, but as the movie progressed, obviously the fun time, girly sleepover, witch coven vibes start to dissipate as things start to get majorly real. It can't all be light as a feather, stiff as a board, floating Rochelle into the air, even though that scene slays so much and it's
Like,
awesome.
so hard we made it our
It
season 1
slays
episode art.
so hard. We made it our season 1 episode art. Are we gonna
Exactly.
bring that back for this episode?
Okay.
I feel like we
Probably
should.
Probably we should, even though we have our sexy new episode art from Ryan that is so fucking beautiful. But you'll
We
see
could
it for
do
the rest of the
both.
season. Relax, you'll see it for the rest of
You
the
said
season.
last episode and the episode before. Actually, just the last episode. How many?
Yeah.
Is this
Just
number
the
2?
last episode.
number
This is
two.
only
Last
episode
episode.
2.
And you'll see it
You got a
next episode.
taste?
Okay, guys,
And then
calm
we're
down.
taking it away. We're
Calm
taking
down.
it away,
Psych.
but then it's coming back next week. So chill out. It's gonna be fine. But for me with this movie, there was a point where I thought that, because I again couldn't really totally remember what happened, that Rochelle maybe was having not second thoughts, because if anyone has the most reasoning behind doing their magic, whatever, it's Rochelle. But like, there's that scene where she comes upon Laura Lizzie in the shower and the hair's everywhere, and she's just like sobbing and crying, and Rochelle is looking at her, and she like looks like
she feels
looked
regret.
horrified to me and looks like she felt regret. And I was like, ooh, interesting. And then they're like, here, let's pick up this little plot thread, and then they drop it on the ground and you never see it again. So I was like,
which feels a
oh,
little, but what we were talking about with like dropping Rochelle's storyline, like it feels like there was something to that didn't get
But they just
explored or got
never-
Yeah.
cut. Especially because when they go to the party later, Laura Lizzie comes up to her and is like, "Hey, girl, how are you?" And then they just like
Yeah.
don't do anything with that either.
yeah, there must have been something cut out. I didn't look for deleted scenes on this. I'll look now.
IMDb
Keep going.
trivia said there was something in the original script, I think, maybe not that got cut out, but that there was a moment where you were going to see more of Rochelle's home life, and it was going to be about how her parents are like boring, and so like part of the allure of magic is that it's like something exciting that's happening, which I don't necessarily think really adds anything to the story, so
Yeah,
no
no.
sweat cutting it. But I had the same feeling where it feels like she's having some sort of emotional journey
Yeah.
that we like almost tap into and then don't quite get, because
Yeah.
another thing on IMDb trivia talked about the mirrors in like the second half of the movie, second last third maybe, and that's one of those moments where when she's in the locker room after she sees Laura Lizzie crying in the shower, she stands in front of the mirror and she like looks away, and instead of her reflection facing her the way it would be, her reflection also looks away from her. So it's almost like she's having this internal conflict where it's like, I can't even look at you, or like I have to look away from what I'm doing. And
Or,
I think it
like-
makes sense to have some sort of storyline for Rochelle that's like, I don't feel bad, or I'm glad I did this, but when I have to look at it directly in the face, that's more difficult than when I can just like be not looking at the consequences of my actions and be like, fuck her, she deserved it. But again, they didn't explore that, so
No, because nobody else has any regrets like at all, obviously, besides Sarah. But like
well,
Bonnie's
also,
just
why
like,
would
I'm a
Bonnie,
hot
you know what I
bitch.
mean?
No, yeah, she's like,
They're like, you've
I
been really shallow lately, and it's like, well, she's fine.
Like, sorry, I'm
don't,
hot now.
yeah, she's really not that bad. She is not a problem
Yeah.
right now.
Sarah's like, you're a narcissist now, and I'm like, let her
We didn't even
wear.
I guess we
a
saw her
spaghetti
sexually
strap
harass that
top.
one man, but
Men are
Let her wear
objects.
also
I'm
very,
just
like,
saying.
Tank
that
top.
felt very of the 90s, of that just to be line in movie. That didn't feel
Like,
like sexual
What? He's
harassment,
got
even
a
if it
cute
is.
tush.
Yeah.
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 No.
Listen, after millennia of being sexually harassed, sometimes you have to harass back.
What you put out comes back 2 times 3.
Ain't that the truth?
But yeah, I was like, Bonnie's not even doing shit.
I know. It's really Nancy versus Sarah, but I just
Sarah.
like, it was annoying that they gave me that little sprinkling of something, and then they're like, Jiggy,
They're giving you a
Say.
4-person movie, and then they're really not following through on the 4-person of it all just because they want to have final showdown. And like, I get it.
It's hard
and
to split time with 4 people equally. It makes sense that
Yeah.
there's 2, but like I feel like they left those 2 hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also because what Sarah says to Rochelle, she says something that's very like, you're taking this so far with Laura Lizzie, and it's like, okay, all of her hair is falling out instead of just some of her hair falling out, but there was that whole thing about how magic can't be undone, and like your spell with Chris is going way out of control again because you can't undo it, and it's just like a natural consequence of the snowball rolling down the mountain. I don't know, it felt a little unfair to hold her responsible for things escalating when there's no way to stop them from escalating. And there was like I don't know.
Yeah.
It just was one of those things where it's
Totally agree with you.
they're putting something in this script to communicate to us that they're not really taking the time to flesh out on screen.
Yeah, totally. Ugh, but I mean, there's a lot that goes on in this movie, but that showdown, not the showdown, when Nancy goes to the party to like avenge Sarah, but actually she's avenging herself.
Mhm.
In reality, that scene is just like so it's so fucked up, but like what a performance from Fruza Balk. Holy. She's so frightening and so like
Unhinged.
unhinged. Just
Like she
so
is
so
scary,
so
in
good.
fact.
Yeah,
It's
she's
also
so
like
scary.
what was your end game, Nancy? Like what were you trying to get in that moment other than have what Sarah has? Like there's this inherent jealousy between them that's
Yeah.
so like she can't she wants to have a fourth member. Well, I don't even know that she really wants to have a fourth member of her coven because I don't think she wants anybody to ever be challenging her authority
Her.
or her as
She was the
the
queen hot
powerful
bitch
one. Yeah.
before. Yeah.
And so the fact that Sarah comes in and has innate natural power and like that very clearly makes Nancy feel threatened. And so it's like cutting her down in moments is important to Nancy.
Yeah.
And showing like I can have what you especially once she's rich and is like I can buy book at store too now.
Mhm.
And so which was also an interesting detail I thought because it really um made me reflect on the beginning when they're stealing. They've got their 5 finger discount, and it's like, do they want to be stealing, or can Nancy not afford to buy anything? And so, like, she has influenced
Yeah.
the other girls to also steal by being like,
So it's
it's fine, no
cool.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's cool, and they're doing it because they want to be like Nancy, and she wants them to do it so that like she doesn't stand out as othered. I don't know. I just thought that was like an interesting character
No,
detail.
totally. Like she's talking a big game because she's hurting inside.
Yeah, she's like doing what she has to, but she's like trying to make it like purposeful and like personality.
Yeah.
But it just felt like yes, she is mad at Chris because Chris was such a dirtbag, again, such a douche, and is an absolute villain even before
Mhm.
things go off the rails with the love spell. Um, but it felt very about Sarah, that scene and like being Sarah and like because it's like oh
Yeah.
she has this like hurt in her that's like oh you only want me when I'm Sarah and it's like well first of all girl he's under love spell
Most Bell.
so yeah, and it's not really even about
They
Sarah, it's
aren't
about the
thinking
magic.
clearly.
But she like can't divorce it from the fact that it's about Sarah. Like she's got her Sarah baggage. So she's like, "Oh, I'll be Sarah and oh, I'll make out with you." And she doesn't stop making out with him until Sarah comes in. So it's like, what were you going to do if Sarah never came in?
Yeah. Like they were full on like they were having sex, you know
They're
what I
like
mean?
humping on that bed.
Yeah, they
They're
were
humping
jumping
on
for
that
sure.
bed. They're jumping.
She said
It's
drumping.
just
Yeah, try humping. I love it.
I just think she always like in the same way that Sarah's down bad for Chris and wanted him even though he was a fucking asshole. Nancy's felt that same way too, where like she's like, "Oh, if he wants me now that like it's not that it erases the past, but like the power
It
is back in
validates
her
me.
court because she like
Oh,
he's
I'm
like,
worthy now.
"Oh, yeah, now you're worthy. He's the top dog, whatever the fuck." But then yeah, also I think it's a little bit gay too even though she's fucking a man because she is literally becoming do I want to be her, be her
Do
or
I
be
want to
in
be
her?
her or be her?
Yeah.
I don't want to be her and I don't want to have what she has, but I want to destroy her. And so I must have what she
Mhm.
has
It's sexually charged.
to prove that I can take it from her.
Yeah. Oh, but that explosion of energy from her that like you don't even exist to me. Like, oh my God, what a line. Like the not all the writing isn't perfect, but like that was so powerful that I was wondering if he was going to blip out of existence, you know, because she has so much power
Yeah.
at this point. I mean, she just killed 45 sharks, if you
That
recall.
was
Why was it
insane.
sharks? Why was it sharks? I was so upset. I love that she's like, by the way, I'm Jesus. And
By
then
the
she's
way,
like,
I can walk on
I'm
water, no big deal, but it is actually really a big deal. So can everybody pay attention to me right now?
And look, I
or-
left you gifts.
yeah, why was it all these cool sharks? I was so upset. I was like, a hammerhead, a great white, other ones I don't know their names. Those are just the two that I know, but there was at least 3 kinds.
Yeah.
Why did the sharks have to go? Very upsetting.
Lightning
upsetting.
struck them in the water. Maybe because they're
Only
predators.
sharks though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I love it. What's the symbology? Symbolism,
What do sharks
symbology
mean?
in Wicca. Wiccans weigh in the comments. But yeah, I mean, shit just
They
goes.
can't stop moving. They're always swimming. Just like
Oh,
Nancy, who
yeah.
can't stop once she gets a taste for power.
There you go. The thirst for blood is never ending. And yeah, she just doesn't give a shit that she killed him either, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy, and I love the aftermath where Sarah is like grieving because she felt for him, though he had just almost tried to rape her.
When she
it's
says,
Yeah.
I think that he was a good guy underneath it all, I was just like, Sarah, come on.
I'm like, really? I
Come
just like,
on,
what
Sarah.
evidence do you have? He's not
No,
even that
he
hot yet.
wasn't.
I just
He's not even that hot yet.
He's not even that hot yet. I don't even get it. Like that can blind you a lot. But he's like been nice
Options
to
are
you one
limited
time.
sometimes.
Yeah, but he's been nice to you one time and it was weeks ago. Like I don't like it was months ago. Like he was authentically nice to you one time. And it was just to get him in. Authentic in the way where it wasn't under duress of magic. That's what I mean.
Sure,
But
sure,
it
sure.
wasn't authentic because he was only being nice to her so she would fuck him. To be clear, to be very clear. Sorry for the confusion. But yeah, just she's down bad even to the very end, I guess.
I also wonder
But
if he was a little racist as well, as I think potentially a lot of people at that school are, because I did notice when he
Yeah.
was like explaining them in the beginning in that first conversation at the lunch tables outside, where he talks about Nancy and he
doesn't
talks
even
about
say
Bonnie. Yeah, he
Rochelle.
skips over Rochelle entirely.
Yeah, that was part
So
of the
to me, it felt
what
like
I
an
was talking
employed,
about in
like,
the beginning. Because
like,
everybody else, everyone said something except for her, and then she's not even mentioned, and I was like,
yeah, it's like
does she
major slut,
exist?
burn scars, and I feel like there's an implied like she's black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm not gonna say it. I'm no Laura Lizzie, and it's like, but we know you're thinking it, King. So
With Mitt as your best friend, we know what's going on here. But I love how intense and terrifying the rest of the coven comes down on Sarah after this, because like she tries to be a good witch yet again, tries to bind Nancy from not even like
doing
she doesn't
harm.
try to hurt
Yeah.
Nancy. She's like, don't let
And she's
her
not like
hurt
no
others,
magic.
and don't let her hurt herself. So she still cares for her. She doesn't want her to hurt herself.
It's a very reasonable boundary to set.
Yeah.
Not I want to hurt you. Not no magic for Nancy. Just don't hurt people and don't hurt yourself.
And don't hurt yourself. Yeah. And oh
And
my
Nancy
God.
just does not take to that well.
This is why this part was so jarring to me too, because the girls are just Bonnie and Rochelle are just immediately so vicious. Like Bonnie, whatever. But Rochelle, like they're like, oh, have you been sleeping? We're in your dreams, giving you crazy nightmares. Nancy's like, did you know that you used to get killed if you went against your coven? How interesting. Ha 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 ha. Like they're just so vicious and they look like they have no remorse
Yeah.
in those scenes. I don't know if they're just talking a big game, but it's just like humanity's out the window. This was their best friend who gave them, if we're doing that argument, gave them 90% of the power that they have because they couldn't do shit before she showed up. and they're literally gonna kill her.
Yeah, there in the original script, apparently there was a scene where Sarah goes to them to do the binding spell, the three of them, her, Bonnie, and
No.
Rochelle, which is interesting. But then Nancy like attacks them and scares them away, and so they like back off basically.
Mhm.
But they ended up cutting the scene because they felt like it undercut that bathroom confrontation. And the Andrew Fleming, who is not the screenwriter, but maybe who the story is by, I'm not sure. Or one of the screenwriters perhaps, but there's two guys.
He's also the director.
Okay.
Mhm.
He felt that it seemed unrealistic that Bonnie and Rochelle would stay friends with Nancy after Nancy attacked them, which I actually don't necessarily know that I believe. I kind of think that they probably would fall in line.
Exactly, yeah.
Especially if shown that like Nancy is willing to be like violent or dangerous or turn on them. You know what I mean? It's very much like the Mean Girls mentality of like, as
Mhm.
long as I'm not the target, I'm safe, and can like be convinced to go along with things that I wouldn't do on my own simply because I don't want this person to turn on me instead. It's that like mob mentality of it. Of like it's way harder to stand up than to go along with things sometimes, which really is like a takeaway in this movie, you know what I mean? But I think
Mhm.
it I it's again one of those things where it's like I can completely buy that they're going full blown vicious towards Sarah, because I think Nancy is doing like a similar talk to them behind the scenes that's like, yeah, they used to kill witches, so like whatever we're doing is A, less intense than that, and also B, we've been increasingly desensitized to violence as this movie goes on because now three
Yeah.
people are dead.
Mhm.
So like I can kind of see how they get to that point, and I understand why we would not be privy to those scenes because like the nature of like us discovering it through Sarah is effective, but when we do get scenes of them all in their individual home lives, not necessarily like really with each other outside of when they're with Sarah, but in their individual home lives, it does feel like a missing moment to like understand how they got to that point, other than Nancy, which it's very obvious how Nancy got to that point. But like
No, I
people
feel that.
cyberbully people in real life, you know what I mean? So like, there are real teens out here who are not appreciating the consequences of their actions, or that if they drive someone to die by suicide, that is also, like that happens in real life.
Well,
So
let's not forget that teenage girl who was like texting her boyfriend at the time and was like, "Yeah, you should kill yourself," and he eventually did, and she went on trial for like
I did think
murder.
about that earlier.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
also
it's
was thinking about the movie
scary.
Cyberbully and the pre-Cyberbully one with Alexa Pena Vega, that was on like Lifetime. So I was thinking about those two movies a lot. And I think there were like other true crime news stories of like teenagers or adults even sometimes like trying to drive someone to suicide because I don't know. I have to assume those people like don't fully also appreciate the consequences of their actions, but I think in this movie adding in the like magic factor of it really feels like distanced for them, and it really
Yeah.
feels like they say like, "Oh, it's just a practical joke that we made you think that your dad was dead."
That was such an intense glamour. Be like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, your family was in a plane and the
I
plane
wonder,
exploded into smithereens.
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I am very curious about how glamour works because um does somebody have to write the script for that, being like the FAA black box blah blah blah, like who was out here coming up with what they were going to say on the TV, or is it like generative AI now where they can just be like plain scene?
I think it's like to get Doctor Who with it, it's like the Time Lord's ID that they show, and it just is a blank thing, but it has some magic-y shit on it where
It's like
whatever
what you would be
think,
scared of. Yeah.
yeah, whatever you think it should say for you to believe that that's a person of authority, that's what it says. So like
Mm.
FBI, CIA, whatever thing, when in whatever country, in whatever universe, in whatever planet, it shows them that. So it could just be like something is on the news that leads you to believe that your whole family is dead. Airplane.
They
Insert
did say
vision here.
when they were explaining glamours in the beginning, when she like changed her eyes to brown, something that she says in that scene is very like, it's about making the other person see it. It's not making like you see it. So that makes
Yeah.
sense for it to be like
Yeah,
a
I think it's
reflection of
something like
what
that.
you need to see or what you expect.
Poor girl. She's just thinks her whole family died in a horrific plane crash because they were going to search for her. So guilt.
And
And
she
then
ran away to San
bugs.
Francisco.
Bugs and snakes and the lizards I was excited about. I was excited about most of it at first. I was like, rats are cute, lizards are cute, snakes are cute, but then they came into the house and then
Yeah.
there was maggots everywhere and then there's cockroaches everywhere and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I spoke too soon. It's gotten out of hand. I don't like it anymore. When the
Yeah.
toilet was exploding maggots,
Blech.
I didn't like that.
Toilet
I'll say
maggots are
that.
where I draw
And
the
the
line.
roaches just spilling out of the vent.
Yeah. Ugh, ugh.
Yeah.
And she also like told Nancy earlier in the scene how like
Yes.
before she was gonna kill herself, she was having all these visions of like bugs and snakes, and she couldn't
snakes.
get rid of it. And the fact that Nancy used that
Use that
because
against her.
That,
teenage
yeah.
girls are mean.
So vicious. Like, oh, you told me your
Mean.
worst nightmare. I'm gonna make it come to life, bitch.
Oh, this is one of the things that drove you to feel like you wanted to die before. Okay, well, I want you to feel
Let's do
that
it
same way
again.
now. So let's do a little repeat.
Yeah, and she
Part two.
literally slices her wrist. She literally does that. But I can't remember how Sarah wins. I literally can't for the life of me remember what happens. I have no. Someone tell me.
It's more mirror stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where they have she does the mirror to make Bonnie and Rochelle like not check on her and go away because they get distracted looking at themselves in the mirror, and mirror Rochelle's like losing her hair and mirror Bonnie has like the burn on her face.
I remember that.
And it's such a good shot when you like see them looking at the mirror and you can see that they're fine, but they're
Yeah.
distracted by the glamour and they're like freaked out and they're like, oh my god, like it is coming back at us threefold. Maybe I don't want to kill my friend or make her kill herself. So that's how she dispatches them. And then Nancy comes upstairs and she is hiding in the mirror. Which is again, okay, the mirror thing is like Bonnie and Rochelle are distracted by the mirror because their worst nightmare is in there, and Rochelle's reflection turned away from her in the mirror, and Nancy gets thrown into a mirror and it shatters at one point. And Sarah can freely, safely step into the mirror and hide within it. She's not afraid of mirror. Mirror is no danger to her.
Ooh.
Which is kind of a reflection of
She's
like,
not afraid of her wig.
yes, she's not afraid of her wig. She's not afraid of her own character and her actions. She's prepared to face them, which is the metaphorical blah, blah, blah of it. But she hides in the mirror, and then so Nancy comes up to her bedroom to find her and is like, she's not here. And then she steps out, and then Nancy has bugs crawling all over her, and Nancy has snakes for fingers.
Okay.
There's, the finger snakes
Ooh.
are so funny.
And the Medusa imagery too, when her hair turns into snakes as well. I was like, okay, what are they getting at here? I think they just thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't totally make sense.
And
with
it does
my
look
understanding
cool.
of the Medusa story. Yeah, it looks sick. It's giving Gorgon.
And then Sarah's like, who's pathetic now, bitch?
And then she binds her, doesn't she, again? Like, fully binds her?
Yes, which is interesting because it's like that's not quite the final showdown yet. They had like one last tussle where they're like in the hallway and they're like up against the door, and Nancy has the dagger, and despite being like right on top of her, she's not stabbing her at all, seemingly because perhaps she's bound by Sarah's spell, because Sarah invoked the spirit. So
So is the idea that she like loses her mind and becomes institutionalized because she is bound now? Because like you could do other shit with magic besides kill people and yourself, girl. Like I don't understand.
well, there's the implication that there's not an implication. It's very straightforward. When Rochelle and Bonnie come up to Sarah at the end to sort of like apologize, but mostly just to be like,
Yeah.
do you have magic still? Which
Yeah.
again is another scene of like, okay, so they're not good friends either. And it's not just Nancy's
No.
influence, it's like them on their own, also not good friends.
Yeah.
They don't have magic anymore, so I think it's possible that binding spell aside, Nancy also doesn't have magic, and that could
That
be
would
like
make
what
more
she's reacting
sense.
to of
Yeah.
like being unable
she's like-
to accept that.
To have that much power, to be Manah's right hand and then to fall out of his good graces. Because she also like pissed off
Yeah.
the spirit of
Sarah's
of
like, he's mad at
magic.
you.
Mhm.
You made dad
So-
mad.
You made dad mad, so maybe
Daddy
dad
mad.
made you institutionalized. That okay, the ending part when Bonnie and Rochelle show up to Sarah's house and she creates the big wind and the tree and the lightning and the shit slays. Then the actual end where it's just Nancy writhing in the institutionalized bed. I was like, oh my god, the 90s were so mean. I was like, oh, this is a classic one where you just
where they're just
feel
like, and she
like
suffers
shit.
forever. Yay!
It was horrible. It was horrific. I was like, okay, we got
Yeah.
to the horror part. Thank you. I'm going to sleep now. Loved that.
Moving
Yeah.
on.
I will say, I wasn't scared by this movie. I wasn't scared by most of our movies recently, but I have found that this movie and Paranormal Activity actually did affect me in some way.
Yeah.
Because lately, whenever something weird is happening or I hear a weird noise or whatever, I have found that my instinctual reaction is like, ugh, please tell me I'm not getting Paranormal Activity right now.
Right?
And
Thank you. It preys on that primal fear.
I'm
That's
just
all
like,
saying.
it's not even like I'm scared. It's just like, ugh, please tell me that's not what's happening
It's
right
still
now.
bringing up the rage bait response.
Yeah, well, like I thought I heard
Mika's
like
here.
a crying dog outside of my window, and then I like went downstairs just to be like, what's going on? And there was like I couldn't hear anything anymore, and I was like, that would be a Paranormal Activity thing. And then today I managed to sneak in a little nap after work, and I had a dream that a rat was crawling and was gonna fall on me potentially, and I was like, that's the craft's influence, and also its fault, and also that's rude.
We do be having dreams recently. I'm just saying.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
god. The dream,
Seriously.
that's Freddie's influence from last episode.
Uh-huh. No more pregnancy dreams. Oh, but by the way, earlier last month, I did have a dream that I killed someone and was racked by uncontrollable guilt. So that's why
Well,
I
there you
know.
go.
That's why I just remember that. I was like, why do I feel that so deeply that I would
Why do
never
I know in
survive
my
killing
heart?
someone? And I was like, because I killed someone in my
Because
dream
I've
and I
killed a
wanted to
man.
die myself. These hands, what have they done?
I was at the
Um,
lake this weekend, and I've been convinced the lake is haunted for like a while. Like
I could see that.
things just
Probably
happen,
all
right?
lakes are, I think.
And it's just Taylor and me in the house, and we're watching TV, and it sounds like a door in like a different part of the house like closes.
Uh-uh.
And I look at him and I was like,
Paranormal
okay,
Activity.
you heard that, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, it's the ghost. And he was like,
It's the
it could be
ghost?
something else. And I'm like, it's not. It's the
Well,
ghost.
it's the ghost, so I don't know what to tell you.
It's
I
not.
hope he said you're
As
right
long
and
as
I
it's
won't
not a
antagonize it.
demon, we're fine. Ghosts
No,
are
it's just
no
a
big
ghost.
deal. As
It's
long
just
as
a
it's
little
not
ghost.
persistent, you're safe.
I mean, it is, but it's not doing anything, right? It's just like
yeah.
randomly turning a TV on and blasting music, and
We all
mostly
share
like
this one
shutting
same
doors.
earth.
That's a tulpa. That's what happens in I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. He turns on the radio a lot.
Yeah.
Tulpa loves to turn on the radio. Be careful.
Well,
Don't even
that
think about
that
it.
also killed people. So
Yeah.
you know, sometimes ghosts just they lived here
Love a little
before us,
mischief.
and they're adapting to their new environment as it changes around them. They've got no say. So, like, yeah, sometimes I'd slam a door too, or sometimes I'd be like, "Oops, didn't mean to slam it. This wasn't always a door here."
It's like, oh, my butt hit the door as I was walking through. So sorry.
This used to
Happens all
be
the
where
time.
I had my hula hoop time. I did not mean to be throwing my body around.
Well, and we've remodeled recently, so like
They're
it's
confused.
valid.
Oh my
They're
god, they're
totally
confused. See,
confused.
sorry, ghost. Sorry, ghost.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ghost.
I'm very
the tornado
polite.
tore the house down. We had to redo it.
Sorry, ghost.
I know.
Okay. Are we
Okay.
ready for our? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, let me one thing.
How would I know?
Apparently, I'm jumping in. IMDb trivia also said that Charmed jacked this movie swag and that it was very obvious and that it was so obvious to the point where people asked Robin Tooney for years after this movie came out and after Charmed started that if she was on Charmed. Because and I mean, I've watched a lot of Charmed and I can see how like a inspiration point would come to be, but that show's kind of doing its own thing. But I did notice that the Charmed theme song is in this movie. And actually it's like the song that is the Charmed theme song and that's also in this movie is not even the original version of that song. It's a cover that's in this movie and they used the same cover for the Charmed theme song, which is How Soon Is Now. So I did when I came on in the movie. I heard it somewhere else recently too, and I went, "What TV show was that in?" So I was primed to catch that reference. But Charmed started in 1998.
Yeah.
So and apparently at one point somebody like did a treatment for a Craft TV show. And then like a year later, Charmed the TV show came out. So they were like, okay, noted.
Okay, got it.
Okay. What is the name of the song that played during like the pinnacle of Sarah and Chris's relationship when right before he tries to do his thing? When he's like trying to like level with her in the back of the car and be like, haha, I don't know what I'm saying either, blah 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 blah. It's this like iconic 90s love song and I just felt like it was so perfect for that moment and I don't know the name of it actually because I'm looking at this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the IMDb soundtrack, but nothing is jumping out at me, so I don't know.
Nothing's going on. I don't know. I just thought that was like a really good choice for that moment. It really stuck out to me. But anyway, are we ready for our
Segamundos?
We're ready.
I'll take
We're
that as a
doing it.
yes.
I'm taking it as a yes. Your little scowl is a yes. How could this
Always.
movie be gayer?
Breckenmeyer, Mitt, and what's the other guy's name? Trey, they've jerked off together before. And I have that in my notes, and I don't remember what
That's on
line
God.
they said
Yeah.
that inspired that, but I was like, I know they've jerked off together.
Sometimes you can just tell just by looking at someone, you know.
Well,
I think maybe it's when Bonnie got hot and they were like joking back and forth in the classroom or something like that potentially. But whatever they were saying, I was like, they are gay together.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying
100%.
they've done anything to each other's bodies, but I am saying they jerked off in the same room while trying not to make eye contact probably, but definitely looking at each other's dicks.
they've thought about exploring each other's bodies.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never do it, but that's exactly why
Unless-
I don't
homophobic
know.
ally Chris is over here being like, these are my two gay friends and they're so gay, and they're both being like, haha, no, I'm not. What are you talking about, girl? Haha. And he's like, these are my gay friends, they're gay together. And then one day
Exactly.
it'll happen.
Maybe they'll come to each other for comfort after their best friend Chris
After
Hooker
Chris is passing.
has passed.
Wow, sad.
So sad.
'Cause-
At least they have each other.
Well,
That's so
Bonnie and
beautiful.
Rochelle are obviously together.
Yeah, they kiss on the mouth. And I was like, are they all
kiss
gonna
on the
kiss on the
mouth.
mouth? And then nobody
Yeah.
else did.
I was like, okay, now it's more weird that you didn't all kiss on the mouth. Just saying.
Now I'm really noticing that you did
Now
a kiss
I'm
on the mouth
thinking
and nobody
about
else is
things.
kissing on the mouth.
I
And
know.
we've made it really obvious that Nancy doesn't know if she wants to be Sarah or is in love with Sarah.
I think Nancy
Yeah.
lesbian, honestly. I think she's not
Yeah.
interested
Nancy
in men.
lesbian.
And what she wanted from Chris was like societal validation and like social
Yeah.
acceptance and like to be perceived as her background not mattering in this social environment at school because the popular guy
Mhm.
liked her. And I also think like she's probably horny. But I don't think it was horny for Chris in particular. And that's also why she's like so hurt about it, because it's not even that she liked him, it's that like it was like a double whammy, that she not only is she not getting any social boost by being associated with him, but actually she like took a hit from it.
Well, and
Mm.
also too, like if he's into Sarah, you know what I mean? Like she could just be like, well, I would like to give Sarah
Transitive
that
property.
attention. Yeah, know what I mean? Like Sarah wants you, but I want Sarah, so I'm gonna get at you instead.
Yeah. See, okay, here's my bone to pick with Sarah though. She's giving straight girl energy, but to be a powerful witch, I feel like it's inherently gay to be a powerful witch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like
Um,
she like is in her straight girl era and then she's going to be like, "Wait, I just found my first coven. In my second coven, I will understand the joy of like women loving women love and companionship that isn't toxic, and maybe then she'll figure it out." I think that's the
Yeah,
sequel where
once
she
she
discovers
finds
her sexuality.
true coven, she will be free and a lesbian.
Or at least bisexual.
she could be that'd be fine with me.
I think she's
Um,
bisexual or pan.
I do think she's giving a little bit Sydney in Scream 1, which I also understand why like the Nev Campbell Association is coming in for you. You know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of like her sexuality journey. You know, is like if she
Yeah,
came
yeah,
back for the second one, she'd be wearing a sports bra and have a bob.
yeah. 100%. She went to college. She figured it out.
Yeah,
Thus is the way
exactly.
of life.
Exactly.
That is
Thusly
the
and
way of
thusly.
college. That's literally what
Also,
college is for.
Yeah.
sure. I thought it was very interesting that Mano was male.
Yeah.
Especially Mano is like a French woman's name for the most part. I kind of felt like they did that maybe primarily because there are so many girls in this movie that they were like, I don't want to fuck with anybody being
We don't want to
confused
make
about
it too
pronouns.
lesbian.
So I'm just gonna like
Yeah.
he, him, Mano. That said, obviously, if Mono is everything, then Mono is all genders and all gender presentations
Yeah.
and all gender
Yes.
expressions. And maybe, I mean, Mono
Gender
probably
fluid.
uses all pronouns. So, like, it's not that he, him
Yeah.
is incorrect. It's just that he, him is only one of the sets of pronouns that Mono could possibly use.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You cannot put Mano in a
I
box.
like that.
You know?
Because like they're also when they call to the four corners and when they invoke the spirit, they're also calling to mother. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's what I'm used
Mono
to, which
is
this type of
everything.
a movie
You'd think.
is more of like a feminine goddess sort of thing that they're doing. But obviously, if God is real, God is a beautiful amorphous blob beyond gender. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
So
it's a little simplistic to say it would be just one gender or another. And
Mhm.
this was the 90s, so maybe they were just like not prepared to really jump into that yet.
100%.
But
They if they did that, no one would understand. They'd be like, "There's a grammatical error in the film."
Right.
well, I like even in like real witch communities, I could understand if they would be like, well, Mono is like made up for the movie. That's like not a
Yeah.
real deity that anybody is praying to. Although it's close to the name for the god of the sea in Gaelic. And when they were filming that, when they were invoking
Oh.
the spirit at the beach, they were like the ocean's being like really fucking weird right now, and it like really is like surging whenever they're like calling to the spirit. So they had like a couple weird witch things that were going on in the filming of this movie, and they had like a witch
Mananan.
consultant. But
Mananan? How do
yeah,
you say
I mean,
that?
I think
Mananan.
even
Mananan with an accent, and that's how you that's it.
I think even in universe and in our real 1996, you know what I mean? Even if they were like Mono, father, man, he, him, it's like they wouldn't say Mono could not be a woman. They would be like Mono is everything still. They just like it's
Yeah.
easy to ascribe one thing to him for casual conversation.
Fair.
And also, it's very like daddy's upset with you when he's
Right.
mad. So
Daddy doesn't like
Daddy is
this.
daddy is
mad.
turning on you. So daddy actually said you did something wrong and I did it right. So
Wow. It's fucking mortifying. Don't blame Nancy for what happened. Okay, do we have any more gay thoughts we'd like to share?
So many more gay thoughts.
Okay, it's time to ask, where would Matthew Lillard fit into this film? He would be the tall friend. The tall friend
Trey.
of
Yeah,
Mitch.
he's got to be
Trey.
one of Chris's friends.
he could be the snake guy.
He would be
Mm,
great snake guy. He'd be such a good snake guy. But
You know,
I feel like
who he could be?
he's who?
He could be one of the lifeguards on the beach checking out all the dead sharks.
He's the shark.
Oh yeah, he's
No.
in the shark. What if he was just dead on the beach?
He's the shark. Oh my god.
He's Manon.
Here's-
Yeah.
He
He's
is
everything.
Yeah.
He's everything, but
Daddy
he's
would
also
be mad.
primarily the guy with the cute tush that
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 Ned is
Bonnie
checking
cat
out.
calls. Yeah,
Right.
he's that
got
guy.
a cute butt.
But yep,
He's that
that's
guy.
him. Cast
That's
him.
him. That's him. I mean, he's got the goods. So I don't know. I haven't looked at his butt a lot.
Also,
I'm looking at his face more.
I remember from our Scream episode that Nev Campbell and Matthew Lillard did date at one point. I think it was after Scream. But if they were dating at this point in time, that would be a good real life cameo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cute. That'd be very cute. Okay, that brings us to our dumb bitch. Who is the dumb bitch of this movie? That's hard because
No,
like
it's not. The
Well, I
correct
feel bad.
answer is Laura.
I was gonna
For
say
being
Laura Lizzie's a good
racist.
nomination.
Oh, it's Laura Lizzie. Sorry, I was thinking of our top four. My mind
Yeah.
went to Nancy first, but I was like, I love her too much for her to be the dumb bitch.
Yeah, Nancy is a dumb bitch, but is she the dumb bitch? You know what I mean? Because
No.
like it's her
She's got
actions
a
are
lot
so
of-
influenced by her circumstance. She's got a lot to work
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
she's got a lot
I don't know
of
that she's
yeah.
best served in the institution, but you know,
No, it's
maybe once she's not scratching at her face so much, they'll be able to give her a better treatment plan.
Hopefully. But yeah, Laura Lizzie, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
What a fucking bitch.
Chris
I'm glad she
also
cried.
big
Yeah.
dumb
Chris
bitch.
is terrible. Chris is really bad from the get-go. I feel when he gets extra bad, it's hard to say what
Yeah,
is
'cause
his
it's
original
not-
intention. And he
and, like-
is a rapist almost, an
Yeah.
attempted rapist. So-
Laura Lizzie, we see have I hesitate to say
Agency.
character growth, but we see that she does she feel remorse or regret for her actions? I don't know, but
You
like
can't even
having this
tell.
terrible experience like does change her to some degree. She's like extending a hand of some kind. Does she recognize that she's been terrible? I don't know. Or
Yeah.
is she just like this person? I don't know what's going on in that scene. There's like so much
They
there
don't give
that
you
a much
enough
better
for
person could
you.
could really analyze.
Yeah.
But like you see change within her. It is impossible to see change within Chris because he's not in control of his actions. We don't know if he would have changed or if he would have not
Yeah.
changed.
So jury's out on that one, but we can say that Laura Lizzie is a dumb bitch, even though she lost all of her hair. Sorry, that's what happens when you're
She
racist.
wouldn't have lost her hair if she just backed off.
If you're racist, your hair will fall out.
There you go.
Something to think about.
Something to think about. Just saying. Okay, that brings us to our knives out of 5s. Chelsea, set the scene.
This movie is a cult classic. I want to lead by saying that. It is much beloved and people watch it every year. I mean, whole year round, but it's like very much one of those movies that people are like, I rewatch it every single October.
Yeah.
That said, its initial reception was a little more chilly. On IMDb, it has a 6.4 out of 10, which is okay. But on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 57% from critics, which is rotten. which surprised me a little to see because I think for the most part this movie is like fairly well put together. The glass breaking CGI is like a little egregious, but that's like one of the only moments, and like it was
Yeah.
1996. But audiences gave it 65%, which is fresh, and it's like that's not a huge difference, but it is fresh versus rotten. That said, I think it got a pretty warm reception from the horror community specifically. I will say at the 1997 MTV Movie and TV Awards, which again, boo to them because they excluded Rachel True, but Fairuza Balk and Robin Tooney were nominated for Best Fight at the 1997 MTV Movie Awards. So like there was some recognition of the film there. But at the 1997 Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films Awards, this movie was nominated for Best Horror Film and Best Supporting Actress for Fairuza Balk. And at the 1997 Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, it was nominated for Best Wide Release Film, Best Actress for Fairuza Balk, Best Actress for Robin Tooney, Best Supporting Actress for Rachel True, and Best Screenplay. And it didn't win any of those, but it was nominated for all of those. So there was some in genre recognition, and there was like some in genre out genre breakthrough to the masses, but I think it was a grower, not a shower. It's very much a cult classic now, but it's been almost 30 years. And I think it was a cult classic by the time it was the early 2000s, but I think it was probably one of those video sales cable showing ones that found its audience over time.
I think that I was looking at the reception of this movie when I was doing my research, and like this little quote came up from Roger Ebert, which, God love him, God rest his soul. But this quote pisses me off so much. He was like, the movie's failure is one of imagination. It tilts too far in the direction of horror and special effects when it might have been more fun to make a satirical comedy about punk teenagers.
That's a completely different fucking movie, bitch.
What?
I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, so you didn't want to watch this movie. So you wanted to watch a different movie, but you're not watching that movie. You're watching The Craft. That's so annoying. I would have liked it, but
men
if it was
will never understand teenage girls. Okay,
it's not for him. He's not the target audience.
Roger, love you, but sit this one out.
What
Wish you had. Ugh. Who wants to go first for this one?
Yeah. Fucking love this movie. It's a cult classic for a reason. This is a 5 out of 5 for me. Just like the aesthetics of this movie, the teenage girl angst, right? Like when you're like in 7th grade and looking to like kind of see how you're feeling a little bit, and then their outlet is also one of your outlets, and doing witchcraft and being mean, like
sure.
Sometimes it's
really
nice to see yourself represented on screen.
Yeah.
And it just like, sure, there's some cringe moments where you sit and you're like, every time you're like, oh God. Oh,
Sarah,
you're like,
come on, girl.
Sarah, Laura, like, oh.
Yeah.
But it's just so good. It's so good. This movie is a slay. Certified.
Hell yeah. So glad we finally did this one. I'm going to give it a little bit of a lower score, but not a bad score. I think I'm going to give it like a 4 point. I'm going to give it 4.3. Okay. Not all the way to 4.5. I changed that in the last second. It was almost 4.2, but I thought about the outfits again. Changed right then and there. But this is just really such a like picture of this moment in the 90s. And I mean, from a music perspective, from a like fashion perspective, just it was so incredible and inspirational for me. Like I was watching this movie and I was so dumb, but I was just like racking through every single thing I have in my closet and like got so inspired to like come up with all these new outfits, which sounds silly, but like that's my like biggest form of self-expression is through fashion. And so I was so excited to get so excited. And it really like got me in the mood for fall because we live in California. I live in LA, and it's hard to get in that mood when it's still hot all the time and
Oh
all
my
this
god,
stuff.
it's
But
so
I feel
fucking
like
hot today.
oh my God. I stayed inside the entire day, so I didn't know. I saw Beetlejuice, so I was in the movie theater. So I don't know what happened out there. But yeah, like it's so hard to like get into the feelings of the seasons here because we don't have them. And like, okay, whatever. I know that you're mad because we don't have snow, but whatever. Sometimes it's nice to feel things. And this made me feel those things. And also it just is really interesting. It doesn't go all the way there, but I like what it brings up about like the dangers that come with power and that it's not all like daydreams and daisies. It's like very serious stuff that these young teen girls are playing with, and I think it does a good job of that. And I was moved by it much more than I thought I would be. So this was a really fun rewatch, and I would like to apologize again to Robin Tooney for forgetting that she existed. And girl, I'm gonna go and look and see what other movies you've been in because once again, haven't seen a single one of them. But we're gonna start tonight, maybe. Maybe. Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch The Craft Legacy. I'm probably gonna do
Yeah,
that
I was
actually.
like, I wonder if anybody has seen that, but I didn't think any of us had.
No.
But
It has the girl from Priscilla and Alien Romulus. What's her name?
Kaylee
That
Spaney?
the
Oh.
yeah, she's in that movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's interesting because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I saw this movie on cable at some point a zillion years ago, and I definitely rewatched it at some point in the last 5 years. Could be a little longer with the pandemic. I mean, God, who knows? But it's not one of those movies that I have like a nostalgic attachment to, so I was a little hesitant to revisit it because it is so beloved that I didn't want to come in and be like it's okay. But it is there's so much here that is interesting. I do think like its primary pop culture value ended up being its aesthetics, which are very slay, unbelievably slay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is interesting. I wish it had a little more space to explore some of the stuff that we talked about because it really does feel like what they're telling us some things that we're not really like getting from the movie necessarily, and they're like these interesting moments that I would love to be explored more. That said, I don't want it to be a TV show and I don't want a remake from it, you know what I mean? It's just like I wouldn't really I wish those things were there, but I wouldn't change it because that would be a different movie and I don't know what that movie would be like.
Mm-hmm.
This movie for the most part, I remembered the ending showdown being a lot more intense than it was. But I was almost like relieved to see what it was because I remembered it being like too intense and like not liking it. So I liked it, and I love the detail where it's like Sarah's using another glamour to like disappear, and it looks like it's like just her clothes that got smushed behind the dresser. I think that's like a really fun little magical detail. I think they used a lot of magical details in a really fun interesting way, because again the snakes and the bugs and stuff, love that. But I don't know, I liked it more than I expected to like it on a rewatch for sure. It's not like one of my movies necessarily. I don't know that it's gonna become one of my movies, but I 100% respect like why it is as appreciated and loved as it is. So I think I'm probably gonna give it like a 4.7.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah. Well, we're off to a strong start in season 5, and it's October,
Wait.
baby. Oh,
Poll
Poll
question
question.
before we move on.
I know. You didn't know what I
Oh,
was gonna
sorry.
say next. But yeah, we are gonna do the poll question now. And I have no ideas for this, honestly. I have no ideas. What's your favorite outfit? How many sheer tops will you be buying after watching this film? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you
All of
have
them.
any? whimsigoth plans for this fall. That's my main takeaway. I don't have any other.
I'm
ideas.
Did
vaguely
they kill the
rocking
snake
one
guy?
right now.
Oh yeah, was it them who killed the snake guy, or
What?
was
Oh,
he in the middle of the street?
if you had a jukebox that only played what artist would it be?
Incredible.
Ooh, that's such a good one. Genius.
A
And you
jukebox
write
that
in the
plays nothing
comments
but
if we
Connie
don't give you the
Francis.
option.
I gotta check
I
her out.
loved that part. I got a little nervous. I was like, are they going to spend all their $175,000
know,
in the
they're
first
blowing
month?
through it.
I was like,
Right.
but live a little. I get it. Okay, that's a perfect one. But anyway, we're off to a strong start. We're doing October. We're doing exciting things. We've done the 80s. We just did the 90s. It's the 80s, the 90s, and today. Which is a great tagline for the radio station near you. But we are doing a movie that none of us has seen yet, I think, unless something has happened and you guys haven't shared with me.
Seeing it tomorrow.
This movie just came out because we recorded this a little earlier than you might expect. But we are going to do a movie that I am so excited for. It is 2024's The Substance. And we don't know a ton about it. I avoided the trailers a lot, honestly, because we were gonna do it for a trailer reaction, and then we never ended up choosing that one. So I don't know a ton, but I do know that's Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, two actors I really, really love. And it's body horror, and it's about the pursuit of youth, eternal youth from an aging actress. So I
I'm
love
seeing a lot
body
of
horror.
buzz online, and so I'm very
I'm
curious to see the movie so that I can not scroll past these tweets and I can see what everybody's talking about.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to do this one. And at the very least, it's going to be body horror. So it's going to be gross out in some regard. And so we might get scared for the first time in a long time on the podcast. And that's what I'm hoping for. But if I
Or
don't
at
get
least
scared
we'll
and I just
go,
throw up,
"Ugh."
then
Yeah.
that's something too. I hate throwing up, so I'd be scared to throw up.
I was gonna say something promising about it potentially, but actually now I am remembering that we need to go in with no expectations to have a good time.
No expectations.
So I'm bringing things back down. I heard it's gross and bad.
I heard it sucked. And I don't even know where we're covering it.
I'm
Oh,
going
my
to
friends
see
have
it
said nice
Wednesday
things.
at like
Same.
3. And right now, I'm the only person in the theater. And I would like that to stay the same, actually, because I would like to make
Be taking
noises.
your little notes.
Yeah, and if it's
So
icky,
if
I
you
want to be
throw
like,
up,
oh
then
my
no one-
god, like,
I think
Oh,
you should do that even in
God.
a packed
Be
theater.
like-
Sometimes an
just be
audience
like
reaction is fun.
Be like my dad at the end of Uncut Gems. Oh God. Oh no. Oh God.
I've still never seen Uncut Gems, so this is
Oof.
still so funny to me.
I don't blame him for having that reaction at the end, but I was like, Father, it's Christmas, please. Keep it to
Christmas.
yourself. It
It's
was
Christmas,
that's on
Christmas,
me that I
Father.
made him see it on Christmas. But anyway, we're excited to do something new, something spicy, something fucked up. So we'll catch you with it next week. But why not, give us a 5-star review? Because look at us. We're so cute. We did such a good job talking about the craft and the trials and tribulations of female friendship. And why don't
It's
you
tough.
say exactly that in a 5-star review? Once again, it's our 5th season, 5 stars, 5 seasons. It just makes sense. And why not follow us on social media? We're at spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we are Spooky Tuesday Pod. And if you just put .com on the end of that, that's our website. It's beautiful. It's got all the blogs for every single fucking episode we've ever done. It's very sexy. A reminder, you can find out what we're doing next week by going to those blog posts and scrolling down. And wow, you can find out the future from your computer screen. Future. Also a reminder, we have a Patreon and we are having a blast over there all the time. The girlies and the boys and the everyone is going crazy in there, and we're talking about great things.
The gays are loving
The girls,
it.
the gays, the theys are going crazy. We're talking about our tattoo plans for the future. We're talking about movies. I'm making people help me come up with what movie I should see this week. It's very exciting. It's mostly me asking you what movie I should watch next. But if you've always ever wanted to tell us, this is your time. So you should subscribe there if you would like. And also, we're on YouTube. And today we're dressed very cutely. I'm dressed as the woman I forgot that I forgot existed. Robin Tooney, aka Sarah. I'm dressed as her today. So who are you, Chelsea?
I'm just kind of doing like a plaid fall witchy inspiration.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I feel like it's giving a little Nancy to me, just with the dark
Oh,
lipstick.
with the slicked back hair.
Uh-huh. The slick back hair and the dark lipstick. And Sydney, you're Nev Campbell.
Neve Candle? Yeah, that's me.
Neve
Neve
Candle. You're
Candle.
showing
Neve
off
Candle.
some skin. You're showing off some skin because you
Wow,
have
she's so
fresh,
beautiful
skin.
now.
Oh my
Wow.
God, you're glowing. It's like you've just had a magical transformation. But you can see all of that on our YouTube. So like and subscribe. And at the end of the day, I have to say thank you so much for listening. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye, spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.